So we're going to get started. We're a couple of minutes after, just waiting for everyone to kind of populate our room here. It's good to see some of the folks that we saw in this morning's session, the One Industry Support and Readiness session. So we're going to follow the same format in many ways as we did this morning. This topic, of course, is tourism product development, opportunities in the time of COVID and beyond. So what we'll do is something very similar. If the folks that are not presenting or talking, keep yourself on mute and turn off your video. That way we can have a better platform, and then we won't have as many issues and bumps and stops and pauses and pivots. It works better on this platform for sure. So John Angelopoulos is the manager of Tourism Product Development Division, and a few operators are going to be joining us today for an overview of the Provincial Tourism Product Development Plan, focusing really on the visitor experience that they're seeking in 2021. This is all about shedding light on the research that we gathered before and what those visitors are looking for. Some of you that are coming from Michaela's session and John Devereaux and Joe O'Brien's session will see a nice dovetail for this. Tourism operators that are going to talk this morning and give some presentations are Chris Shepard of Roots Rants Roars, Dwayne Collins of Hare Bay Adventures, Autumn Gale of the U and Draw Hotel, and Ange Gilly of the Florian Hotel. All of them are going to be joining us and presenting us with their experience of product development, how they adapted, how they pivoted. I know we love to hear that word, and what they learned and how they plan to move forward. This should be a pretty good discussion. It was on Monday, and we got a lot of good questions when we did our breakout rooms, and we facilitated a lot of conversations from operator to operator. So what will happen is everyone finishes their presentations, we'll go into two separate breakout rooms, and we'll go over that a little bit of detail, how that works. But we'll do that as the sessions go on. If people finish presenting, then you have an opportunity to ask some specific questions to the operators face to face. So basically what we're going to do now is let you know that we're going to record the session like we did the other ones, and it'll be available for future viewing on the HNL's YouTube channel. And if you have any questions or comments about that later on, you can flick me an email. But now we're going to go right to John, who's the manager of Tourism Product Development Division. And John, you got the mic, and we're going to let you take over and give your presentation, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, good morning, folks. My name is John Angelopoulos, and I am the manager of Tourism Product Development for the Department of Tourism, Culture, Arts and Recreation. Our division is responsible for tourism product development in the province. I wanted to thank Craig and Stan and the team at Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador for putting these One Industry webinars together over the past few days. It's a really great opportunity for the three tourism divisions to get out and speak to industry and update industry on the opportunities for this upcoming tourism season. So our provincial tourism product development plan hangs off a mandate, and that mandate is to create and deliver Newfoundland and Labrador brand experiences that attract more visitors, that encourage them to stay longer, and that encourage them to experience more. And what we always meant by experience more, we always meant spend more. So right now we're working with our 5 destination management organizations in partnership with Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador to create a new short and long-term vision for Newfoundland and Labrador tourism. So anybody that has participated in our tourism opportunity sessions or our tourism planning sessions over the past couple of years would be fairly familiar with this slide. And this is what we refer to as the visitor journey. And we developed this particular tool for a bunch of reasons. The first being that we needed industry to understand exactly what some of the priorities that we had in product development, and we wanted to be able to articulate that to our clients. On the other side, the visitor journey also articulates those baked in touch points of the visitor journey that you really can't get around. So, whether the visitor is a resident visitor or a non-resident visitor, or even if it's ourselves going on vacation, we really can't get out of these touch points along the visitor journey. So, as we prepare for 2021, how has the visitor journey changed, due to, this global pandemic that, has been imposed on our industry? So, as we look at the various touch points, for example, in the planning and booking touch point, our typical vacationer takes 5 to 7 months to trip plan. As we're now dealing with a more resident client, they're much more spontaneous in their trip planning behavior. So, they could take anywhere between 5 to 7 minutes to 5 to 7 days to trip plan. So operators being, lenient with cancellation policies and, embracing that change in consumer behavior is, ultimately how you're going to be more competitive in the marketplace. Transportation is also a big piece of the visitor journey and getting visitors here and getting visitors around. So one of the big pieces of the product development plan was sense of arrival. And, now sense of arrival, has a whole different meaning because, we have this global pandemic on our doorstep, and how we invite visitors, into our communities and into our attractions and into our businesses, is a little bit different than it was a couple of years ago. And, being prepared for that, is certainly something that is a high level conversation. And, we're certainly not going to be able to check all those boxes today, but it's certainly very important in how we embrace visitors back into our communities. Visitors that are here, though, they need visitor services. Visitors need good highway signage, good wayfinding. They need access to Wi-Fi. They need access to public washrooms. They need those one-on-one conversations with our VICs and our regional VICs, that lets visitors know that there's capelin rolling at the beach down around the corner. Or, if you travel, 20 kilometers this way, there's this fabulous iceberg that, is not showing up in any of the business listings or whatnot. So, those are the types of information that visitors need, but they also need visitor information. Like they need to know if things are open, if things are closed, and, any changes to visitor information needs to be articulated and, in the hands of the visitor, is in most efficient way possible. Food was also a big part of the visitor journey. And we found that almost 60% of vacationers last year anchored a food experience, a restaurant experience, a brewery experience, onto their vacation. So we know that food was a huge part of the visitor journey last summer. And, incorporating, restaurants and incorporating breweries was a big part of the lure in getting folks traveling. Accommodations were, again, a big part of the visitor journey. And last year we found 36% of our vacationers stayed in motel, hotel style accommodations. And this presents an opportunity for other accommodators that are out there. Things to experience are what we really get excited about in product development. And, those are all the things that folks like to do. Those are, the culinary experiences, the hiking trails, the ATV rides, all of the things that folks like to do, when they're out there in the regions, we really get excited about that in product development. And lastly, and, our marketing team are going to get on a little bit later today and, explain on how we can share on that brand promise. So, collectively, that's ultimately how we deliver on that brand promise, is filling in some of these gaps along the visitor journey and filling in those gaps based on COVID-19 and some of those opportunities and some of those changes. So our residents love to get out there. They love hiking, they love nature, they love culture, and they love food. So, as you can see, local restaurants were, one of the top 5 attractions and experiences that our vacation parties like to participate in last year, as were walking and hiking trails. Beach experiences were also a big part of the visitor journey. So if you were an operation, if you were an accommodator that was lucky enough to be located out around the Lumsden area, you probably did a little bit better than some of the other regions. Craft breweries were also a big part of the visitor journey. So incorporating craft breweries into your travel offer is something that is going to be highly recommended. And historic sites were also a big part of that visitor journey, in particular outside in historic sites. Some of the top 5 activities that residents participated in last summer. Pleasure walking and hiking, as you can see, was the #1 outdoor activity. Whale watching, camping, seabird watching, these more iconic type of activities, our resident vacationers also participated in. But as you can see, the participation rates are low. And that's because we feel that there weren't a lot of places open last year. So, there's opportunity there to bump some of these numbers up. And number 5 on this list is hiking with a pre-made picnic. And my colleague, Chris Shepard from Roots Rants and Roars, is going to get on a little bit later and tell us a bit more about his fabulous program. So as we organize provincial product development, and we do it in the context of the visitor journey, we do it in 4 provincial areas of focus. So brand experiences, enhancing market readiness, collaboration to compete, and understanding value and success. So utilizing research to inform decisions. So as we overlay our provincial tourism product development plan that we had just concluded a few months ago, a lot of these initiatives are still ongoing, and a lot of these initiatives couldn't be more important now than they ever were. For example, destination trails. We know that our non-resident visitors love our destination trails. Our resident population also got out on those destination trails and couldn't get enough of it. So, we know that investment that we had made in partnership with the COA has, increased in value exponentially. Enhancing market readiness and, articulating, health and safety as an utmost priority, for the tourism sector is an important opportunity in enhancing market readiness. Collaborating to compete, filling in those gaps along the visitor journey is still extremely important, and offering those itinerary-based programs that, our residents are going to gravitate towards. And lastly, informing our operators by utilizing the fabulous research that we have on our research page, and utilizing that market and customer research to inform decisions. So as we look at the 2021 spring, summer, fall outlook, and based on the research that Michaela has presented, we had pulled these opportunities from that particular research. So for example, the brand experiences that we feel operators should be focused on this summer are pertaining to friends and families, hidden gems, and culinary and nature-based experiences. When it comes to updating and enhancing market readiness, adopting a commitment to health and safety, like that Clean It Right program that Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador have embarked on, like sign up for that and make sure that the visitors that are purchasing the products and experiences, they know that you're enrolled in this program. Being adaptable to new customer expectations and new customer behavior is going to be extremely important. Wayfinding and directional signage is also an important investment. Take it from a townie that gets outside the overpass. It's extremely easy to get lost. So having, a digital online presence that articulates any changes based to COVID-19, any changes to your business, having that online presence and articulating that visitor information is extremely important. So, our tourism markets are now super competitive, and, collaboration and itinerary development is more important now than it ever was, as is utilizing the COVID research that we have up on our TCAR website. So our operators are encouraged to follow the page and utilize that research to inform business decisions. So quickly, I'm going to go through some 3 opportunities. And the first one is about giving residents a taste of the province. So, featuring local food and drink, basically in any setting. So combining culinary activities and culinary experiences, with restaurants, with cafes, and partnering with picnics and breweries, and, supporting that traditional sense of taste that visitors are looking for. But, by partnering with hiking trails and camping, and camping sites and other partners that are out there that are offering products. So creating those packages, featuring unique local food and drink opportunities, by embracing some of those regional and cross-regional partners and offering those packages to industry. The next opportunity is, letting our residents discover something new in their own backyard. So really accentuating hidden gems that are out there in the regions. So 27% of our residents last year traveled to a destination for the first time, and 38% travel to new destinations, or they said that they travel to new destinations that they've never visited before. So, we know that our resident visitors are explorers, and they don't mind getting out into the regions and, finding those hidden gems that are out there. So, showcasing those hidden gems is really an opportunity to tie into, the lore that folks are looking for with regards to nature-based experiences and culinary experiences. So ultimately taking that hidden gem that's out there in your region and really putting it up front, into the eyes of the visitor. Ultimately to limit social interaction, operators are going to, are going to have to embrace, getting our visitors out, particularly to one or two of these, hidden gems type of experiences or attractions. Our visitors are not on, 10 and a half day excursions like our non-residents were. They're only out for probably 3 or 4 days. So they really only have the opportunity to get out to maybe one, maybe two of these hidden gems. So, providing that opportunity and really letting our visitors know that these cool things are out there. And lastly is, enabling residents to explore the province as a family or with friends. So, really embracing the concept of family bubbles, because, family bubbles are something that we're going to have to live with as a travel industry now for probably the next few years. So, really, really embracing that concept of families and making it easy for families to take in, products and experiences. Appealing to kids and appealing to kids' curiosity is something that we traditionally do not do in tourism product development. But, having products that are appealing to children is going to be, more impactful and more appealing to folks and families that are looking to purchase these products and experiences. So that's it for me. I quickly wanted to introduce my team. Lucy Always, our Provincial Tourism Development Officer. Ella Heenahan is our Eastern and Northeast Avalon Tourism Development Officer. Paul Taylor is our Western Tourism Development Officer, and Chris Tuck is our Central Tourism Development Officer. We work very closely with our DMOs on the ground, with Hospitality Newfoundland and Labrador, and of course with all the funding agencies that are out there. So, we're in the middle of the mix, and we're here to help. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the program, and we can have some good conversation. Cheers.
Perfect. Thanks, John. Good stuff there, man. Good stuff for sure. Okay, we're going to get to some of the operators who are going to present their situation now. So we're going to go first to Dwayne Collins of Hare Bay Adventures. Hare Bay Adventures brings to life natural and cultural heritage of this province, specializing in hiking, fishing, and campfire adventures. And I think for a while we're pretty pumped up on rowing boats, but I'll let Dwayne take that away. So go ahead, Dwayne. The virtual floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much there, Stan and John. Once again, happy to be joining in. Just starting up my video here. So yeah, we're kind of a full, how to put it, stumbling over my words here this morning. We're a full offer outdoor adventure company, but we also have a gift shop and cafe. Our gift shop features products from all over Newfoundland and Labrador. That's what we exclusively focus on, is Newfoundland and Labrador products. Hey, there I am, coming to you live from the smoker room of the SS Kyle by the look of it. I would like to say that we've certainly struggled with some of the COVID changes. It made us rethink a lot of what we do. It made us change our plans. We added a deck onto our cafe, for instance, a deck in a garden. so that we could attract people with an outdoor dining experience. And that's proved to be very popular. We're also right now in the process of getting our liquor license so that we can stock and serve craft beers and ciders. Again, kind of keeping in fitting with our brand. For our tours, we've pivoted and we've tweaked and we've changed out and out, abandoned some tour products and have brought in new ones. As Stan was alluding to there, we spent a couple of years where we were doing rowboat tours in a traditional hand-built wooden rowboat. It was actually built by the Winterton Boat Building Museum. It was a product I absolutely loved, and we got a pretty decent response to, but it just wasn't catching on with the resident market. Last year we did one. So we bit the bullet and said, you know what, we can sit here on a depreciating asset that we don't know when our out of province visitors will come back, or we can move on and change. So we sold the punt and purchased a 14-foot aluminum Princecraft that's better fitted to the trout fishing experiences that we have been growing and have been catching on with the resident market, and fits our season better because that's more of a spring product. And our summer products that we have going on out the bay here, where we partner with Brian Oram of the Shark Company, a fantastic product that he has there. He does chartered shark fishing out of Hare Bay, and it's a world-class fishing experience. If you're into big game fishing, this is as good as anything in the world. But together we partner on and offer things like whale watching and seabird watching, a seabird focused trip. We do a resettled island trip, full day excursion, where you visit places like Newport, Silver Fox Island, Fair Island, Braggs Island, and the Beaches Archaeological Site, which is an amazing archaeological site that today few people actually get to visit, but tells a fantastic story of the indigenous cultures that have lived on the island for the last 5,200 years. So we developed a lot of interest around that. We do cod fishing trips. We continue to do our campfire meals on the beach featuring local seafood. And this year we're rolling out a sunset tour where we'll do a tour around the bay, and you get to take in the kind of amazing scenery that we have here and the amazing sunsets, along with a light meal aboard the boat. And even when it came to the boat, we've actually, between our two companies, we've changed and upgraded to a boat that's better suited to doing tourism in all different kind of forms. It's more comfortable, can take slightly more people, but we're still talking about taking a maximum, depending on the product, of up to 6 guests. And that's something both companies, we really believe in. It's something that I think will sell well in a post-COVID world, is that when you go with us, we've set the boat up, all of our products, basically around chartering the boat. So you charter us for either a half day or a full day. And that way, not only are we at your disposal, it's a very personalized, very customized tour. The only people in the boat other than your guides are people you know. You have complete control of that. It's all your family, your friends, sort of things. So, whether that's a single bubble or a double bubble or whatever we want to call it now going forward, that's, I think, going to be a real selling feature for a lot of people, probably for quite some time to come. And the partnership aspect of it is also hugely important in everything we do. Not only do we work quite closely with Adventure Central, Gander Area Chamber of Commerce, and other kind of organizations, H&L, all of this that we take an active role in. We also have really good relationships with a lot of the businesses and communities here in the area in Central. And I think that's really important. It's together that we'll be able to offer a destination experience for Newfoundland in general, and for this area of Central in particular here on the shore. You know, and we work with companies beyond tourism, like we work with accommodators. You know, we've worked with, obviously we work quite closely with the Shark Company, but we have also worked, you know, with Bird the Rock there, which again, fantastic products that they offer and that. But we work with companies that people don't necessarily think firsthand about tourism. Like we have a really good relationship with a couple of the general stores that are in Hare Bay. And really neat spots with really great histories as well that really attract people and get them into their shops. And, you know, in some cases we sell some of their products as well. But also like there's a metalworking shop here in Hare Bay called the Prop Shop, and they do all kinds of ornamental metal work and that as well. Fantastic customizable sort of things, like, you know, for an example, they build wood stoves, handmade from scratch. Fantastic stuff. There's a leather products shop here in Hare Bay. I think it's called Newfoundland Leather Products. Again, amazing work. We carry some of their items here, and we're probably going to be carrying more. And we do a lot of cross promotions with these companies. We work with, we have a really good relationship here with a local author, Gary Collins. And we carry a lot of his books, his titles through Flanker Press, but Gary comes in the shop quite a bit. We've done things like, you know, meet the author kind of evening events, this sort of thing. We work in the entertainment industry. You know, we have a good relationship with Mike McDonald at 618 Entertainment. You know, we've had him, not only him perform here, we've had him book performers into our cafe. We have a space there to make kind of this a small venue space. And I think when we're looking at, again, this year, being able to do a few of these type of things, which, again, fabulous performers. And, you know, that's a segment of our industry that is certainly facing some serious headwinds. Not that we all aren't, but, you know, when it comes to performance artists, yeah, they're really getting hit hard. So I think these type of partnerships are going to be extremely important going forward. We've pivoted to in the type of products. John was mentioning there about how normally in product development and that when we're talking the out of province market, we don't really focus on families, and that was us. You know, we certainly would take families, and we did, and we would tailor some of our products to families, but it wasn't of critical focus for what we were doing. This year, that's going to be more of a thing. We brought it in more in our pricing, giving kind of family rates, this sort of thing. We're going to push a couple of our products a little harder that really fit families well. Our end of the wharf fishing experience, for instance. It's a summer fishing package where we spend 2 or 3 hours fishing off the wharf and shore around Hare Bay and Dover. And, you know, it's a great hit with families in particular. The kids get to catch lots of different stuff, conners and flatties and scopelands and all this, rock odds. And it's a learning experience as well. Like we talk about, well, we talk about with all of our fishing stuff about the species that we're catching, about their ecology, the biology of them, but we also talk about the cultural element. And, you know, how when it comes to the end of the wharf experience, I tell people, this is as authentic a Newfoundland experience as you can get. And that if you want to understand what it was like to grow up in an outport, there are worse places to begin than fishing off the end of a wharf. You know, it's something we all did. So that's been a real hit. And I think that adaptability and willingness to partner and cross promote and work on products together, that's what's going to really allow us to weather the COVID storm, so to speak, and really highlight the amazing stuff that we have all over Newfoundland. And, if I'm going to be a bit of a self-promoter, what we have here in our own backyard, I mean, we got some really cool places to take people. Like I said, our resettled island trip, it's something else. Like you're getting to go to places that you literally see in the history books and you see in photographs. That famous picture of the house being floated into the beach with the 3 kids standing in the foreground on the beach. Well, we'll take you to where that house came from. You can stand in the very spot where it left from. And our whale watching and seabird trips. It's hard to, if I told you you wouldn't believe, except I know there's a couple people here that have been on a couple of our trips, and yeah, we can deliver on it. I don't mind saying that. So I think that's kind of Hare Bay Adventures in a nutshell. And yeah, if anyone's got some questions in that, I'll be happy. I'm not sure if we take questions now or if we wait till the break.
We'll probably do that to get to the breakout room, Dwayne. But thanks. Yeah. That's excellent. And I agree. Any type of authenticity or storytelling are key elements of your programming and your product development. So yeah, that's really important stuff. Thanks. Okay, I'm gonna go to Chris Shepard of Roots, Rants and Roars. For those that don't know, Roots, Rants and Roars takes place in Elliston, and it's a celebration of the food, the culture, the land, the sea, and it's attended approximately by 700 people annually in a normal year. And I'm going to throw the virtual mic over to Chris now, who's going to tell you that last year wasn't a normal year, but still things went pretty well. Chris, it's yours.
Okay, so thanks, Dan. So my name is Chris Shepard. I am the event manager along with my colleague Roger Dooling for Roots, Rants and Roars. So Roots, Rants and Roars is the festival that takes place in Elliston every year, the 3rd weekend of September. And so today I'm going to share with you how we adjusted the festival to align with COVID and the issues surrounding that. So the festival is, like I said, 2 days, and we have 3 events. The 3 events are Cod Wars, the Food Hike, and the Feast. So for this year for COVID, we focused on what we could do to change the food hike to make it more inclusive, or how we could use it and make it more COVID friendly. The food hike being probably our signature event. So last year when COVID hit, we really had to think about what we were going to do. We knew we couldn't have the regular festival based on the guidelines. So we just wanted to figure out what it is we were going to do. So the decision for us really was about taking a break completely from the festival and just not doing anything, thinking that, customers would understand if there was nothing going on, tourists would understand since, the COVID year, we would, kind of get over that and move on. Or would we create a modified version of the festival and if we did, then what would that look like? So for this year, there was a lot to consider around COVID and the festival and how we would do that. So we really wanted to bring in as much insight as we could to make these decisions. So we formed a committee, and I think this was an important part of how we evolved and how we changed and the success that we had, is we formed a committee with members from the DMOs like Legendary Coast and Destination St. John's. We also included the product development team at the province and the marketing team at the province. So that committee met regularly and had discussions about the changing COVID guidelines, what the festival was before and how we could evolve it to make sure we could maintain and represent our brand as we went forward. And so what we decided on is that we would continue and do something. And because I think for us, it was really important that we still stay connected to social media and be able to talk to the tourists and remind them that Roots Ransom Moors still exists. And then in the future, we would want to welcome them back to the province as well, to be a part of Roots Ransom Moors in the future. So for us, it was really about a marketing project and keeping the name of Roots Ransom Moors alive. So we established some goals. We wanted to decide what it is we wanted to achieve from this event. If we were going to go at this, we wanted to make sure we knew why we were doing it. So for us, it was really about increasing the awareness of the Roots Ransom Moors brand and spreading that knowledge, increase our social media following and engagement. We wanted to drive traffic to the Roots Ransom Moors website. So we wanted new people who are learning about Roots Ransom Moors to go to the website and not just discover what was happening in 2020, but to look back over the past 9 years and say, okay, well, what is Roots Ransom Moors and will we come in the future? So we really wanted to educate people about Roots Ransom Moors and make them want to come to Newfoundland and Labrador once they were able to. We also wanted to raise awareness of the Newfoundland hiking trails and the use of the hashtag HikeNL. We wanted to increase business to local restaurants. So over the past 9 years, previous 9 years, restaurants and chefs really are the backbone of Roots Ransom Moors. And when they come every year, they are volunteering their time, they're taking time away from their business, and they've really supported the festival. And they are what has made the festival so successful in the past. So we really wanted to support restaurants and help them during a difficult time for them. And we also wanted to create an event that would attract residents to the region and, as John alluded to, spend more money. So then we also looked at the challenges. So we knew what we wanted to accomplish, but we also had those barriers. So of course, there was no large gatherings at the time. We were allowed to have a maximum of 100 people. And we did the math, and 100 people just wouldn't make a financially viable festival. Also, the guidelines were changing regularly. And we didn't know if we sold tickets for 100 people, then, days before that could be changed to only 20 people. And then we'd be in the position of revenue refund or cancel. So we really didn't want to be put in that situation. We talked about doing an online version, but we felt that people already had Zoom fatigue, and people were getting bored of online festivals. There'd been a lot of festivals out there. The other piece of that was, how do you monetize a online festival as well? And also there was no live music. So the COVID guidelines prohibited live music at that time. So live music and Newfoundland entertainers is a huge part of Roots Ransom Moors. So we didn't want to lose that piece. So how did we incorporate that into the festival, into the new version of whatever the festival was going to be? But there was also opportunities around that as well. So looking at the restaurants, we knew that because they were at 50% capacity, only allowed seating 50% of their occupancy, we knew that they had the ability to prepare more food, do more business. They just didn't have the mechanisms to do it. We also knew that there was a high level of interest around hiking in Newfoundland and Labrador, mostly because it was one of the safe, socially distanced activities you could do. So there was a lot more people hiking, a lot more conversation about hiking. So we did that, and like I said, we also had a group of engaged partners. So Tourism Elliston, who are the organization that essentially owns Roots Ransom Moors, were interested and excited to have something happening in this year. Legendary Coasts, one of our partners, and Destination St. John's, of the DMOs, who were really interested in supporting the festival, and the province, and ACOA also, as our primary funders, were very excited to get involved and do something, and really wanted us to be able to produce something this year. So I guess we put all those stuff together and mixed it all up and had a lot of really lengthy conversations and looked at what we could do. And from that, we created an event called My Food Hike. So again, we used the concept of our food hike, but we really wanted it to be about people being able to create their own food hike. So an individual being able to replicate what they did in previous years at Roots Ransom Moors. So we created a video, to kind of an explainer video so people would know what it was about. We launched this in late August, and it just kind of explains the thing. We used footage that we already had and footage from the barber stock from the province. Okay. So I'm going to play the video for you now. Do you guys need to, sorry, the guys in AV guys, you need to do anything?
Nope, you should be good to just hit play.
Okay, thanks.
This year, we invite you to create your own food hike. Introducing My Food Hike by Roots, Rants, and Roars. Choose a hiking trail, maybe your favorite, or try out a new one. Visit one of our participating restaurants and order a picnic served in a Roots, Rants, and Roars insulated backpack. Before you head out on the trail, download the My Food Hike playlist from Spotify. Make sure you take lots of pictures to share on social media for your chance to win awesome prizes.
So we launched that video, like I said, in late August, and over 4,500 people watched the entire video, with nearly 12,000 people engaging in the post and a total reach of 22,000. So we were really excited to see there was so much interest in what we were offering, and yeah, we just thought this, maybe we're onto something here. And so we had ordered backpacks for this event. And I started thinking maybe we didn't order enough backpacks when we had this much interest. So we were really pleased with that. So going forward, the next few slides, the images you're going to see are all user-generated content. So based on some contesting we did, people submitted photos. So these are some of the photos that were submitted, and they were really, really great photos, I have to say. So we reached out to a bunch of restaurants, and what we use as our guidelines, because we wanted to remain on brand and make sure we were, the experience you were getting at a My Food Hike was the same experience or a similar experience that you would get if you were at Roots, Rants, and Roars. So we reached out to restaurants who had been, or chefs who had been involved in Roots, Rants, and Roars in the past. So one of the guidelines is you had to have an affiliation or had been to the event in the past. The other thing is we wanted to support local. So 25% of the ingredients in the picnics had to be local ingredients, as the same as we use in Roots, Rants, and Roars, that I would say, we're more like 80 to 90% local ingredients at the actual festival. But this was kind of a jumping off point for us for this year. And we also wanted to ensure that packaging was eco-friendly wherever possible. So we really didn't want to this kind of takeaway concept to really have a negative impact on the environment. So, and like at Roots, Rants, and Roars, if you've been there before, we are very aware of being eco-friendly in terms of the dishes we use are bamboo, and we use all biodegradable supplies. So we really wanted to carry that through in this as well. So then, in order for people to learn about hiking or to figure out where they wanted to hike once they, got a picnic, we created a hashtag HikeNL page on our website. We've put some blogs about hiking on there. We put links to the NewfoundlandLabrador.com hiking page, to the East Coast Trail website, and the Hike Discovery website. And then through the funding, we were able to, so the funding from the province and the CO, we were able to secure these Roots, Rants, and Roars insulated backpacks, because again, this was about marketing for us. So we wanted our brand to be identified as much as possible. And these backpacks were given to the restaurants to put their picnics in, and each of the restaurants received them at no charge. So therefore they were able to pass that on to the customers at no charge. So there really wasn't a negative financial impact for using these backpacks. As I mentioned, we wanted people to go to our website. So we updated our website that included an online calendar, which showed all the restaurants that were participating, what days they're participating, and that linked out to their locations, their menus, and their contact and booking information. And to bring in the local music aspect of it, we created a Spotify playlist that was made up of Newfoundland artists who had performed at Roots, Rants, and Roars in the past. I mentioned we had a couple of contests, and that's how we gained a lot of our user-generated content and the photos that you're seeing. So the first one we did was called "Where's Your Backpack?", which people had to post a picture of their picnic or their picnic on the hiking trail, and include their backpack in the photo. They had to tag Roots, Rants, and Roars and use the hashtags MyFoodHike and HikeNL. And then at the end of it, we gave away a grand prize of a weekend pass for 2 at Roots, Rants, and Roars 2021. We also had weekly photo contests that increased the amount of photos we were seeing, and so we would change the themes regularly. And again, they had to include the hashtag so we could increase the use of those. So the event was, I believe, very successful. So I'm going to share with you some of the results we had from that. So as I said, we had we had improved our website and we wanted people to go there and spend time on there and look. So we had almost 11,000 total site visits in the month that we ran the promotion. So this is just in the month of September. And they spent an average of 12 minutes and 16 seconds on our site, which is, those of you who are familiar with website analytics, is a huge amount of time for someone to spend on your site. So I attribute that to a couple of things. One was, I think people, kind of shopped around at the different restaurants online and tried to see what to review their menus and see what their offerings were to make a decision. The other thing was they also spent time on reading our blogs. So we had engaged some writers, and we wrote 5 blogs about Roots Rants and Roars food hike. And so those got almost 2,500 views. And we had 16 participating restaurants. We sold 900 picnics in total, generating $25,000 in revenue for the restaurants. And so for us as a marketing project, and the goal being to increase our following on social media, these are our results on there. So on Instagram, we increased by 30%, a total engagement over the month of almost 1,800, with a total reach of 16,600 and total impression of 95,000. For us, Facebook has always been our biggest platform for engagement. So we had an increase of 18% with a total engagement of almost 11,000, with 210,000 in total reach and over 250,000 in total impressions. So for us, we really valued that, and that was a huge success to be able to, for us to get the brand out and get people to recognize. So as I said, part of the contesting was about sharing pictures of your picnic. We were able to get people who had attended Roots Rants and Roars in the past, who weren't in Newfoundland, were doing their own picnics and sending us photos. We have one example of people from the US who had been there the year before, and they sent in a photo on social media of them out on a picnic. They didn't have a Roots Rants and Roars backpack, but they did have their Roots Rants and Roars wine glasses from the previous year that they took photos of and put up. So, really helped us with that engagement piece and getting the total reach out there to new people. As part of the program, restaurants were required to do a little bit of reporting back to us at the end of it. So some of the feedback that we got from it that seemed consistent among multiple restaurants, one was that there was new customers for them that were generated because of this event, and awareness. Several of the restaurants indicated that this was new. They had new customers that didn't even know the restaurant existed before this event. So it was a really great marketing tool for them as well in terms of getting the word out about that restaurant. They liked that it didn't take up valuable seats in the restaurants. As I said before, because they were at 50% occupancy, they were able to get the picnics done and get people to take and go away. So sell food without taking up the space in the restaurant. And it generated sales outside of peak time. So most people would want to pick up their picnics in the morning, not during lunchtime when it was busy for restaurants, or not in the evening when it was busy for restaurants. So it really helped minimize the number of staff they had to do that, but it also minimized the number of people coming into the building during COVID when they were allowed to have them in there. And so for me, I think, and for Roots Rants and Roars, is a huge advocate for food tourism. One of the great things that I liked about this event was that we created this calendar of food tourism activities to do for the month of September. So we had this full calendar. So pretty much any day in September that you wanted to do something that involved local food, you were able to do it based on our calendar. I think that concept is something that we really would love to see continuing and growing on in terms of a calendar that identifies local food experiences. So that really worked out well. And I think, going forward, it'll be a key aspect of the event. And at the end of that, we did have some backpacks left over. So we reached out to our restaurant partners again, and in conjunction with the province who were running the winter tourism campaign, asked them if they would like to do some more picnics and try to pair it with some of the winter tourism activities that the province were promoting. So we had a few restaurants do that, some who were really successful at it. So it was really great. But again, one of our large goals was to support restaurants and do what we can to help get that business in the door for them. In terms of the future for Roots Rants and Roars, I think that, I'm not sure what's going to happen with festivals and events in the future. There's a lot of hurdles. I don't know if people are going to be wanting to stand in a field with 700 other people in the near future, even if the restrictions are lifted. So there's some consumer confidence issues that we have to worry about going forward. But I do think that whatever happens, the My Food Hike option for Roots, Rants, and Roars will stay forever. It's been really successful. We're really pleased with the results, and we did have a lot of attraction coming out of it from non-residents as well as residents. I also think that no matter what happens with consumer confidence around festivals and events, I think there's opportunities in this no matter what happens. So, for us, COVID really made us think outside the box and really evolve and change. And, it's been really beneficial to the festival overall, because we'll continue to do this and also think differently about the way we do everything. Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. There's no two ways about it that the local food aspect is crucial to any tourism experience. And John alluded to it, and this morning's session with Michaela talked so much about the research and the data that shows that that's exactly what folks are looking for, whether they're local or from the Atlantic bubble or from beyond. So yeah, well done. All right, next up we have Autumn Gale of the U and Draw Hotel, which is a boutique hotel in Western Newfoundland, Labrador that's family operated and owned, and is thoughtfully curated to pay homage to the beauty and bounty of that region. So I'm going to pass the mic on to someone whose name was obviously also inspired by nature, Ms. Autumn Gale. The virtual floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi. I'm just going to share my screen. All right, I think we got it. Okay, hi. As Stan said, my name is Autumn Gale. I'm the Director of Operations for the Hue and Draw Hotel and Boomstick Brewing in Corner Brook. We opened in March 1st of 2020, and there are 3 businesses under our roof. Our hotel, our brewery, and a leased restaurant space, which is Best Coast Restaurant currently. The hotel and brewery really, every part.
Can I just jump in for a quick second?
Yeah.
We're not seeing as a full screen. We see kind of like some, yeah. Okay, now I'm not sure if the boys, F5 seems to be the magic number to press to get it to be a full screen, but I could be wrong in that. I keep hearing people say, so we're just seeing a part. It's not my full screen. I don't think I'd be the only one. That's better. That's bigger. Well, it's like I can see some notes there. Oh, here we go. There we go. That's it.
Now you got it?
Now I got it. Yeah, okay. Thanks.
Okay.
I was just seeing the small screen. I couldn't quite see the pictures. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, the hotel and the brewery, really every part of our property, we designed it to be a place of gathering. Especially in the tap room and the hotel lobby, we envision the space being communal. It's a building where you're sharing tables with other groups of people, where we want people to socialize and engage with each other. So we really wanted to make the space modern and attractive, and yet not be pretentious or intimidating. So this was a really fun project to carve out, and it took a lot of investment to get it right. So you can see the original design there in the photos. As you can imagine, COVID really threw us for a loop, because so much of our energy had gone into curating this shared space the year prior to opening. So it was definitely a challenge to then start thinking about completely modifying that to a world of forced separation. Through the thick of the shutdown, our hotel partially closed. We kept several rooms open for frontline and essential workers, and then just basically the management crew as just a skeleton crew on board. Trends were showing that beer was proving to be pandemic proof, so we really focused on brewery production. We were able to send beer out to all the NLC stores in the province, but then we kind of ran into an issue where we had only been open for 2 weeks and nobody knew who we were. And because you couldn't physically go into NLC stores, we were losing that spontaneous purchase ability from the consumer. So we started a live tasting series on Facebook to help promote our brand and our beer sales. That was a really successful project. And we worked with local restaurants for each of the videos, and we featured a different area in our building for each to kind of just show people what we were offering. And we were just like happy to have a little bit of fun amidst everything that was going on. and make light of a serious situation, I guess, for a couple minutes a day. So after we summed that up, I set my sights on the summer, hoping that we'd be able to salvage a little bit of business as things opened up. So we started working on some COVID-friendly ideas for the hotel and brewery. The first big project was to develop safe outdoor space. Because of our location on West Street, doing something at our ground level wasn't an option. But luckily, we did create an outdoor rooftop patio during construction. It wasn't originally supposed to happen in our first year, but we wanted to have rooftop hot tubs for our guests. And in order to do that, of course, we needed to construct a patio on the rooftop. So prior to COVID, the intent for the non-hot tub side, which is what you can see here in the pictures, this was just, again, going to be a gathering space for our guests. But instead, we created an outdoor restaurant area where we had food and drink service 7 days a week. We did rooftop yoga classes that were open to the public and to our guests. And we even had a few outdoor live stream concerts and small ticketed events for things like beer releases from the brewery. The second big project for the year was to develop a full line of staycation packages. So I wanted to do three things with our package offerings for 2020. First, or most importantly, to get the word out about our businesses, because we really didn't have an opportunity to build our reputation in the first 2 weeks that we had been open. Second, we wanted to support as many local businesses as possible without it being overwhelming. So something important to me was finding the right number of packages that we would offer at a time to try and prevent any consumer fatigue from releasing too many things at one time. And then the third was to promote the entire Bay of Islands region through our offerings. So if you're from Western Newfoundland, you probably already know that oftentimes Corner Brook is considered a drive-by location, and we're very interested in changing that. But people are often on their way to other tourist areas in Newfoundland. So I kind of felt that the silver lining in the staycation idea for 2020 was that it gave our area an opportunity to expose ourselves to the rest of the province, a little bit to the Atlantic bubble, and to hopefully boost future interest in our area. So pictured here, this is the first package that we came out with because the reopening to, I think it was level 3 or 2, came right around Father's Day. So this is the bed, barbecue, and beers package that we did for Father's Day. And as you can see in the tags there, we partnered with Juniper Barbecue Scraper, Rugged Edge, and Saucy Newfoundland Company for that one. So for the season, we went with 2 themes of packages. The first being internal packages that really just promoted the hotel and brewery for your staycation, but didn't include any pre-booked adventure aspect to the trip. And the thought process there is that people freshly released from shutdown would want to break away either by themselves, with a friend, or with a partner. The Treat Yourself and Little Love packages proved to be really popular. The Treat Yourself was predominantly booked as a belated Mother's Day gift. So we saw a lot of women booking that package, and more specifically moms. By far, the Little Love package was the most popular. Even now, as of say last week, I mean, we're selling 6 to 10 Little Love packages a week. So that one is definitely on the permanent dock. That package accounted for about 70% of all package sales for 2020. The Bring a Friend wasn't overly popular. We did find that anybody who was coming with a friend was a lot more interested in booking one of our experience packages. So we're considering not bringing that one back for 2021. I also included a screenshot of our Christmas package details just to touch briefly on working with partners who are not in the tourism industry. So for Christmas, we did a shop local promotion where we partnered with 11 businesses external to our building, and they offered various deals that they got to decide. And I did just want to mention this one because it was very popular, but it's also work intensive to partner with companies that are not necessarily in your industry. It meant cold calling all the local businesses, following up with them, letting them decide what they wanted their deal to be. And then we had to take on all the design and printing costs and everything of that package. It did sell extremely well. So now that the footwork is done, I do think that we will continue to offer this as a Christmas package, but just a heads up to other accommodators who might consider doing something like this. It might not be feasible if you're strapped for time or resources. The second theme for our packages was outdoor experiences and adventures. So we partnered with several outdoor experiential operators in the Bay of Islands area. Every single package that we offered was booked in 2020. Some were much more popular than others. Notably, Marble Zip Tours was our most popular summer package. And I do think that's because Zip Tours is probably the best known adventure activity to do in our area. And it's also family friendly. As you heard John and Dwayne both say, family travel is a lot more important right now. I definitely underestimated how many families would be coming to us, especially they're not necessarily our target market as a boutique hotel, but family travel was very popular in 2020. And so we'll definitely have that in mind when we're making our 2021 packages. And we're just reaching out to partners now to kind of figure out what that looks like for this year. We'll also definitely be doing a heavier marketing push on our packages and making sure that all of our adventure packages and all the things that we partner with other companies on make it to the NL Tourism website. Last year, I only got our internal packages up there, really just time constraints. So this year I'm going to focus on getting them all up there because we had a lot of people come in and say, hey, we saw your sponsored ad through NL Tourism and that's how we booked. So I want to make sure that we're giving all of our packages equal opportunity and visibility. So looking forward to the upcoming season and what else we can offer. We are going to be rebooting our 2020 offerings with some changes and additions. And in the hopeful step towards normalcy, we'll be investing more time in promoting the hotel as a hotel brewery combo. A lot of people still either think of us as just a hotel or just a brewery and may not know that we share a roof and are essentially the same company. So I really want to amalgamate the two in people's minds so that the thought process is more of a brewery that you can sleep in. That said, in 2020, we had to put a hold on brewery tours for safety reasons. But the goal for this upcoming summer is to get that program running. And perhaps instead of the Bring a Friend package that I mentioned wasn't overly popular, maybe we just straight up replace that with a brewery package that includes a tour with one of our brewers, a tasting, and maybe a food pairing. And I'm also working with some nearby breweries and transportation companies to maybe make it a bit more of a regional experience that here is your start point, but you get to go to a few more breweries other than just us. So that is the plan for 2021.
Excellent. Thanks, Adam. And if you haven't already trademarked a brewery you can sleep in, you bloody well should, because I think that's one of the best lines ever. Good stuff. Thanks. Okay, we're going to move on to our last operator before we get to our breakout rooms, and Angela Gillies, who, among many other things, has a 4-star accommodation located on the waterfront of picturesque Fort Tow. So for those of you that are uninitiated and might not pronounce it correctly, is known worldwide as the Florian Hotel. So Ange, wherever the heck you are up there, in your car, out of your car, wherever you are, you have the floor.
Buddy, I'm going to tell you, there's no question how dedicated I am to this tourism industry, because this is my second time doing this week, and I'm still in my bloody car.
I know.
But,
how far have you been driving? Geez, you've been driving for 3 days.
Well, you know what? I'm actually on the ferry right now, docking back in Quebec. So I'm going to try to get through this before I lose reception. It's hilarious.
Okay, thank you.
So guys, the Florian Hotel, we're situated in southern Labrador, right on the coast. COVID-19 hit last year. We had 600 cancellations. There was no end in sight. Now what do we do? So these are the questions I put to myself. Where do we begin? Who will come through our doors? Where will our focus go now that our tourists are gone? How can I best utilize the stay-at-home campaign offered by the province, and how advantageous can it be for our area? So I tried to move forward in the most positive way possible, because as you can tell, I'm a very positive person at heart. So what will the expectations be of the new visitor? delivering services and experiences to guests from away. That's our thing. That's what we do. That's how we're known. So people come here from all over the world to experience our province and are ready to pay the price to do so. So how can we now change our ways in thinking to still put heads in beds and fill our dining rooms with locals? So what I did is I defined the potential new market and refined products and services to pivot to the new niche brought to us by COVID-19. So in doing this, how do we sell our rooms? So I marketed to the Trans-Labrador Highway. Next slide, please. I'm situated on the south coast of Labrador, as I just said. It's right where the ferry runs to Newfoundland. So I marketed to the traveler driving the TLH. So either families visiting the island or coming to us to visit family in Labrador. I offered hot dinners from my kitchen at all hours. So guests would not only have a comfortable sleep, but a great meal as well after driving all day. I also converted 4 of my rooms to pet-friendly rooms to penetrate that market. I offered special rates for large families, so we could book 2 rooms. And everybody was comfortable, and I was still making it up in restaurant sales. I like to make people at home. First impressions entering your property are equally as important as the comfort of the beds or the great food in the dining room. People need to know you care, especially when the world is in such a place of uncertainty. Our dining room, we cater to local fare in the dining room, but it's also different when cooking for the general public. I do many high-end meals for tourists and business travelers that a local would probably not entertain, like an $80 lobster or a $30 fresh cod meal. As you know, the answer to that from many locals would be, I'm not paying that much for codfish. Now, in saying this, we still offer high-end experiences and culinary gems to those locals who travel just to indulge in those culinary experiences. I'm one of those locals who like to travel and try different things. Not everybody does. So the whole pivot in my dining room was to offer experiences for people of all different calibers. The majority of the traveling guests is looking for a comfortable bed and a hearty meal. So we offered that as well as our main pivot point during COVID season. So sticking with the provincial vision, we have developed culinary and nature experiences through Red Bay and through Point Amour. So when opening to Florian, I wanted to offer something different than what other places were offering. We wanted to fill the gap so that the traveler that wanted to experience high-end culinary experiences could also do it in rural areas as well as urban. I always envisioned offering high-end culinary experiences in our area that were never offered before. So I based our unique offerings on beautiful views, national historical sites, the World UNESCO site, the Pioneer Footpath, and the Trans-Labrador Highway. I am the exclusive Basque chef with Parks Canada. I offer small bites on Saddle Island where the Basque whalers settled in the 16th century, as well as multi-course Basque meals in our dining room. So through this partnership with Parks Canada, it was developed through dedication and new branding for our area by myself and through Parks. This was an opportunity that I jumped at to be trained as a Basque chef and partner with Parks, as it's a great collaboration to add a high-end experience to our stay at the Florian Hotel. So we offer Basque pinchos on Saddle Island in Red Bay. The one that you're seeing in the background is an experience for 8 guests to have a tour around the island by Parks Canada staff, and then to come back to the stage where we offer Basque small bites. So it's a federal program that's based on traditional fare with Basque fusion. This partnership offers the guests a tour of the UNESCO site and a taste of the Basque cuisine. So that's just an example of what the food would look like if you're taking in our experience in Red Bay. My son works with me. He's 7, and it's completely, it was his idea as well as mine. It was a great collaboration between the both of us. Being in this business, I'm away a lot, so I wanted to find a way where he could be with me and see how it could add extra value to our tour. So my son comes dressed in Basque clothing and introduces the menu to everybody. So it offers a sense of family to our guests. We offer high-end experiences while not only catering to the adults, but also showing a safe and happy, content environment for children as well. And I couldn't see myself doing a presentation today on my successes without including him, because he really is my inspiration for what I do. So in my dining room, I also offer the multi-course offering of Basque cuisine. On this table is 18 recipes that I've adopted using traditional flair along with the training that I received from the Basque chef. So everything most on this table is homegrown. We find it in our own gardens, what we plant or through foraging. And a lot of the fish and seafood that I use, my dad and I catch ourselves, or we buy from the fishermen on their on the dock on the day that it's caught. So it's super fresh. Pynamore Lighthouse, there's a lot of opportunities that have risen out there for me as well. So we look for opportunities of growth and awareness. We have a beautiful lighthouse, so why not offer picnics so people can experience the outdoor nature as well as a culinary experience? And if you build it, they will come. And that's a very true saying that's been used for decades. We use a beautiful setting. We use inside the tower as much as we can. So it's nostalgic, it's quiet. The staff from the historical site do tours. We couldn't do the tower last year because of COVID, but they do tours and tell them the history of the tower and where it came from. So that's pretty cool. At the lighthouse, I like to use local, fair, high-end quality, reasonably priced, and dedication to my brand. So I use a lot of seafood, but I also do moose, caribou, whatever we can get local. I use a lot of my mom's recipes. I've taken them and interpreted them into my own way. And then it's still traditional, but you're using a modern fusion. So for the picnics, I don't promote them for every week because the weather, I like to work with the weather. So if it's a beautiful day, we take bookings and we use the weather and the scenery and our partnerships with the historical site to make it successful. So next are just a few pictures of people enjoying it. So that's a group of ladies that came out just to do something different. Families, gatherings, environments. So this is a lady that came in from town that brought her nieces out, which I thought was beautiful. And it ended up, one little thing that you have to, I know we have a lot of flies, but in Point of Moore, there's always a breeze because we're right on the ocean. So generally speaking, there's always an opportunity to have a picnic outside. So it's quite exciting. So moving forward, my branding. I am Chef Ange of the Florian Hotel. I am dedicated, driven, and ambitious. I look for opportunities and I make the best of the hands we are dealt. Nobody expected COVID to come, but I had to try to find a way to make things as successful as I could. And I think we did a really good job of that. Everyone has equal opportunity to succeed in this business. It's a determination that will get you there. And I know I spoke really fast, but again, they're throwing out the lines here on the ferry and I didn't want to get cut off. So thank you very much again.
Yeah, thank you for doing this. And thank
Listen,
you for
never a dull moment with Ange, is it?
Yeah, and thank you for doing it in the middle of everything you're trying to do. Get off the freaking boat. Okay,
Yes.
so we're going to break out into two focus rooms, two breakout rooms. I really want to focus on operator dialogue. Our master technicians, we're going to send us to, I believe, the iceberg room and the puffin room, and then we'll come back afterwards just for a last little wrap up. So the operators stay on key. You'll probably see invitations out to you and be sent to a room any second. So we'll catch you in those rooms in a minute, guys. Okay, guys, as we are a few minutes over, I gotta clue this up and tell you a big thank you to all our presenters. That was great for the 4 presenters and John who kicked us off. Excellent job, guys. Very, very valuable stuff. Great ideas. Great conversation. Obviously, as I said in our little breakout room, if anyone has any more thoughts or ideas or want to reach out or has any concerns, reach out to a member of HNL. The staff there is ready, willing, and able to listen to you and happy to help your business. If we could, because Alex or Chanel is a professional at this screenshot grab, whatever the proper term is, can we have a gallery view and everyone flick your camera on and fix your angling or whatever the heck you got to do to make your camera look good. And Chanel, we're going to take 10 seconds and have Chanel take a few pictures of us. Do I see a hand raised? Yes, I see Virginia McNeil has your hand raised. So Virginia, do you want to say something or?
Sorry, my video feed has been stopped by the host and I'm not having a bad hair day, I promise, but I can't.
Virginia, you are wearing clothes.
Today, yes.
Today, okay, because I told the tech guys to make sure if Virginia comes on, she has no top on. Make sure
Yeah, there you go.
kill her. Yeah, I guess the boys will try to go back, or maybe it's a local issue where you are. But let's just take.
Can
10
we stop sharing the thank you screen just for a moment so I can get the gallery view of everyone?
I don't do that, do I? No. Okay. There we go. What a team.
Beautiful. Say cheese. Perfect. Thank you.
Good looking team. All right, guys. Thanks so much. I hope to see you in person friggin' soon. But thanks for attending all this. It's been great. Much appreciated. As I said before, if anything comes up, reach out to us and we'll try to deal with whatever's on the go.
Thank you.
All the best, boys. Cheers.
Thank you.